Hey, what's up guys? My name's Samuel Leeds and I'm sat here in Darcy's house. Darcy is the newest financially free student on our academy. And Darcy, I just want to say firstly, thanks for having me around your house.
You're very welcome.
So you are 20 years old.
Yes.
You joined the academy when you were 19.
Yeah.
You quit your job too fast.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Like, what were you doing when we met? What was the...
So I was doing a degree apprenticeship at an investment bank, you know, your typical good career, all of that, you know, traditional route.
Right.
But I always knew that when my degree finished, I wanted to go into property because I've been watching on YouTube for years. And then during the pandemic, it just made me realise, why wait? Like, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
Why wait? Like, why not just do it now? So I did a couple of your free courses and then I paid for the advanced training. As soon as I started the advanced training, I literally loved it. Like, I would actually not work when I was meant to be working and just do your training. I know.
And this was like during kind of pandemic kind of time.
Yeah.
So when you joined the academy, you did the online version.
Yeah.
So you're going through, and of course we were on Zoom and chatting and doing stuff, but it was kind of online. And at the time you were working full time. Did you say you're studying for uni as well?
Yes. So it's just so many hours.
And I remember on the Financial Freedom Intensive course when we were chatting in a group, but we were chatting, and you said, I want to quit my job, I'm tired of it. And I was like, well, before you do that, right, you need to do this. And you completely ignored me and you just went and quit everything.
I know, yeah. I'm very confident in myself, and I knew that if I quit, then I would have no other choice but to be successful because, you know, like, I had a lot on the line then. Right. I wasn't comfortable. I didn't still have that paycheck every month. So I was like, well, if I eradicate the paycheck, then it puts pressure on me. And I know that if I have the training, I can do it. And if I don't, it's my own fault.
And I wouldn't advise that, because if you'd have failed, you'd then be in debt because of the training, you'd be jobless, I would be Satan.
Yeah, I don't really believe in failure though, because I think in life you are taught something and then you put it into action. Mm-hmm. So if you either don't do the training, then you won't be successful. And if you do the training, you can be, but it's on you. Like, it's on yourself. Like, I never ever put anything on you or your training. It was up to me to be successful. Like, if you can do it, if any other human being could do it, I can. It's just a matter of picking up the awkward phone calls and making them.
But from my perspective though, there's still a weight of responsibility on me. Like, you were a teenager at the time, you were 19. Having a 19-year-old go on and I don't even know how did you afford the training, because it was
I'd saved up from my degree. I was getting paid from the degree apprenticeship, like a very good wage for my age. So, and obviously we were in lockdown, I was still living at home. I didn't have really any costs. So I just saved as much as I could and then just paid for the training. Still had a bit of savings left over.
And what was your salary in your job?
It was 22,000 a year.
Which is great for a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, 22 grand is fabulous. Yeah. So, okay, so you went through the training, you quit your job, you joined me live on the Serviced Accommodation Intensive. Yeah. Bang, what happened on that program?
So that was the best thing ever, because we could go in person, and I do believe that environment is everything, especially if you're new, because you can then meet people that have done it, you see success kind of in the flesh. Yeah. So you believe it a lot more. And so we made the phone calls to the agents, and I managed to get a viewing for an apartment in Portsmouth, which I was like, brilliant.
And this was actually on the program?
Yeah, this was on the training, you know, after we've been taught everything, been given the scripts of what to say. So yeah, I made that phone call, and then that phone call, I didn't know it, but would later turn into my first deal.
Incredible. So talk me through then, your first deal is in Portsmouth. What did you say to the agent? How did you manage to get it? 19 years old, no job at the time because you just quit, right? Yes. So you didn't have references. You couldn't say, oh, I've got a... Normally when you rent somewhere, they'll say to you, can you afford it? Yeah. You didn't have a job. You didn't really... You had a tiddly bit left in savings. Yeah. How did that happen?
So I managed to negotiate the rent down from what it was. And I basically just, you know, used all the advantages of being a company let. It's a company, you know, it's guaranteed rent, you know, it's you know, you've got a lot more on the line when you're a company. Someone can hold you accountable, which for the landlord was very appealing, because obviously with the tenant, it's very, very hard to hold them responsible and get any money back. But it's different with a company. And I just explained all those benefits, and they had dealt with company lets before, which really helped because they knew what it was. They did ask for a guarantor, and thankfully my dad was one for me. So I will be grateful for him for that. So I did need a guarantor. But yeah, I just sold all the advantages, really.
Yeah. So basically, you get a viewing, you told the agent up front, this is a company let.
Yeah.
You went round, you pitched them on the concept of how this would work, what it would look like.
Yeah.
Because you'd quit your job, you had zero income, you needed to get a guarantor. If your dad hadn't have done it, you'd have got somebody else to do it, no doubt.
Oh yeah, like not having it wasn't an option. Yeah. Like I knew if I needed it, I'd find it somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. So rent-wise, and you, by the way, Darcy, you are a very smooth negotiator.
Yeah.
Like even this sofa that we're sat on in one of your service houses, you know, this was a £2,000 sofa, and you negotiated it. How much?
800.
800 from £2,000. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're a very good negotiator.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a natural ability as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you've learned a lot about property and service accommodation, but you're naturally a confident, good negotiator. So rent-wise, what did you manage to get the rent for on that first apartment?
So it was at £1,150, and I managed to get it for £1,075. Which doesn't seem like a big difference, but you think that is now my Wi-Fi and electric bill done. So it actually has saved me a bit every single month.
And the market is booming, so
Yes.
the tenants are queuing up. Yeah. So okay, so not bad. And profit-wise, how much are you renting that out for, and what kind of profit are you making from that first apartment that you got?
So the profit on average is about nearly £1,000 a month. Which I'm really happy for, because, you know, it's a cheap rent, it's in a great location. I, to be fair, would be making more, but I pay for private parking for my guests, because I know how much of a nightmare parking can be in a city centre, and it is expensive. I have to pay £130 a month for it, but it's worth it, because then I don't get guests saying, oh, I had the hassle of trying to park.
Right, and it keeps your reviews, it keeps your reputation.
Yes.
But you're making a profit of about £950.
Yes.
That was on your first deal, and you got that on the programme.
Yes.
I mean, high five. What did that do? I mean, a lot of people say your first deal is the hardest. What did that do for your confidence, for your belief? What happened when you got that first deal in you?
It did so much for me confidence-wise. I mean, it solidified what I had learned and what I knew I could do. And it also just gave me that boost of the first is the hardest. And once you've got one, you then have something to leverage when you're going to get number two. Because you could say, well, I can give you a landlord reference, or well, I got this one through another agent, or this is how they did it. You just have a lot more to play with. But a good skill I learned was that even if you don't have one, leverage other people's, as long as you have their permission.
Yes.
And say, you know, oh, well, my business acquaintance has 5.
Yes.
You know, so you've always got something to play with. It's all about knowing the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing what to say, how to leverage, not just leverage money, but also leverage people's credibility, but in the right way where you're being ethical.
Yes.
When you quit your job, what did everybody think?
They thought I was crazy. The only person that truly supported me was Ben, because he knew that if I wanted to do something, I was going to do it.
And Ben is your boyfriend?
Yes. Right. Yeah, he's my partner for quite a while now. And my family, as much as they love and support me, they didn't understand it, because they'd, you know, I'm not from a rich background, and they saw this as a really secure job for me, and they just thought, you know, you're on a good path with them, and yeah, it's all about the security, but I am not about security. Like, you only get one life, so why not have fun with it?
And it is a big, I mean, if you were my daughter, I mean, even as your mentor, I was a little bit worried when you told me you'd quit your job. And if you were my daughter, I think I can completely understand. You're laughing at the thought, but I can completely understand why a father or a mother would be like, what are you doing? You've got this great career, you're being paid a nice salary, you're 19, You've got the rest of your life to do entrepreneurial stuff, but just get your degree, get your, work your way up in your career. So I can understand why they were a little bit apprehensive.
Yeah.
And shout out to your dad. He was a guarantor to you as well.
Yeah.
So he obviously does support you very much as a person.
Yeah.
But the move to just quit was a bold one.
Yeah, it was a bold one, but I mean, I've always had a lot of self-belief. Yeah. I knew I could do it. And I don't like that stigma of, well, you must finish the degree or you must wait 2 years. Yeah, I left it all.
Oh, you just left it?
Oh, I was just, where's the degree going to get me? It's just a piece of paper.
Ouch! Ouch! Wow, I didn't know that. So you were studying what?
Financial investments, like stocks and shares, and
you just left it and joined the academy. That is crazy. And did you use part of your student loan to join the academy?
I wasn't paying for the degree. The company paid for the degree.
Right.
So I was living a perfect life, you know. I was getting paid to do a degree at 18 years old. I was doing full-time job for one of the biggest investment banks in the whole world. Only the top 1% actually got into the job. So that in itself was a big accomplishment for me. So yeah, a lot of people were very questioning of my decisions. But I just think with degrees nowadays, like, unless you need it, what's the point? I'd rather start property now and be successful now than wait 2 years and look back and regret it.
Right. And another thing is as well, and this is a very personal decision, and what you took was personal, but if you finish uni and then you're in a job, get married, have a couple kids, suddenly if you're in a job, it's much harder. There's never a right time to quit.
No, and what I said at the time was, I have no responsibility. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have children. I don't have loads of bills to pay. If I'm going to take a risk, the best time to take a risk is now. And my old team, my boss, he actually tried to convince me to stay and we got on really well. But he even said to me, he said, look, if all fails, give me a call. Right. And he would have sorted me out. So I knew that even if the worst happened, which I didn't even think of it, I always was going to be fine. I'm young. I can afford to take a risk now. It's better doing it now than when I'm 30 years old with all them responsibilities. Right.
You're a smart 20-year-old. You're a smart 20-year-old. So, and after that first property, you went and got more. I mean, this property is another one.
Yes.
So where's this?
This is in Winchester.
And how much profit, roughly, is this property generating?
So on average, about £2,000 a month. Wow. And on a good month, about £3,000 a month. Just
on one property?
Just on one rent.
That is ridiculous. I can't say how proud I am of what you've done. And I know you've got a bunch of other properties as well in the pipeline. You've got agents that are, very happy to give you deals. But just off of those two, that's more money than you were making on your secure job.
Yeah, way more. And also, I don't have to work 12 hours a day being bored to get it.
Right.
Which is the best thing. Like, I love painting and decorating and like choosing interior design and stuff, which is why I love serviced accommodation. So it's much more fun. I can do it on my laptop while I'm watching Friends. Like, That's the crazy thing, is that's my job. Like, I said to my sister the other day, she went, where are you going? I was like, oh, I've got to go to IKEA. That's part of my job now. She went, no. I went, it actually is. Yeah. In my job description probably is go to IKEA to get furniture. Right. Which is crazy.
And you kind of, it's a different way of life, isn't it? Your work just becomes a way of life as opposed to 9 to 5 or 9 to 6.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a lot more fluid, but I enjoy it. I can choose my hours, which means that I can see friends and family around all of that and in between. So yeah, it's great.
What makes you so successful?
Just the attitude. Right. Like, just don't moan, don't make excuses, get networking even if you feel a bit awkward. Yeah. Like, I do remember I did feel a bit nervous walking into that service accommodation event because I didn't know anyone and I didn't have anything. But then as soon as I was there, I knew that it was the right decision. I
think you're going to challenge and inspire a lot of people, because the fact that you've been able to do it so young and just not just do it, but boss it and breeze it just so quickly. on your first day of being on training, you went and got a deal.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And I know a lot of people up there were doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not a bad trainer. And
No.
and I'll make people do stuff.
Yeah.
But, I'm really impressed. And your results at your age are not typical. I mean, even the deals that you've got, like 2 to 3 grand off of one deal, that is not typical. How are you getting so much profit from this property?
I mean, I always knew that Winchester was a very affluent area, very popular. The nightly prices are crazy, and the properties around here are gorgeous. So I knew I had got a lot of rejection from certain agents, but I just knew Winchester is the area. Right. I need to carry on.
And this particular property, the agent said, sorry, we're not prepared to do it. The landlord's up for it, but we can't do it on rent to rent. And rather than you saying, oh, I got a rejection, what did you do?
Oh, I phoned the landlord.
How did you get the landlord's details?
The estate agents were lovely, and they are a branch in Winchester, and they actually said if it were our way, we would do it. We understand company lets, we think they're great, but it was just higher, it was above them.
Right.
Said that the legal team couldn't do it. And the estate agent was really nice and gave me all the landlord's details and said he'll be in contact shortly. So yeah, I am still very grateful for them.
Yeah.
And then the landlord called me. I spoke to him. We got on so well. He's got loads of other properties in London and around. He's a very wealthy lawyer in Dubai, so he's got a lot of property in England. And he said if this one goes well, he'd love to show me his other ones. So yeah, from one contact, I've got potential.
And the thing is as well, you pay the landlord. How much do you pay for this house?
1,550.
That is not a lot.
Not for Winchester. And this is the most central property I've ever found. It's got all the gorgeous old features of the massive ceilings. The windows are incredible, and the door, they are features. And when it comes to service accommodation, it's all about what can you offer that's unique.
Right.
No one wants to come from their boring grey beige home to another boring beige grey home.
Yeah. But what you did so well with this landlord was you took a property from a motivated landlord because he was living in Dubai.
Yeah.
It was a state.
Yes.
And you've done it up. And it was literally, it was full of junk. So from the landlord's perspective, he's happy for you to clean it all up as part of the deal. How much money did you spend getting this rent to rent? Because you've had to refurb it, paint it, furnish it with this beautiful sofa and everything, and beds upstairs. How much does it cost?
So for the decorating, I only spent about £2,500. I did pay 2 months rent up front, just to offer more security to the landlord, and a deposit as well. I know a lot of people say to negotiate a deposit, but a lot of people, they want a deposit. They don't know you, so sometimes you just have to.
And did you get a guarantor for this property?
No.
You didn't? Because do you remember when you said to me, you were like, my dad doesn't want to be a guarantor a second time? And what did I say to you?
Said try and negotiate it without, or find another one.
Maybe I didn't say it to you, but do you know what I thought?
What?
I'll have to look back at the history. I thought, if you can't get a guarantor, I'll be a guarantor. Did I not tell you that?
I think you said worst comes to absolute worst.
Literally, I can't remember what I said to you on Facebook. I might even have to have a look now. Yeah. But I was like, I said to you, come on the academy call. Pitch pitch that you need a guarantor. Try and do what you can do. And if you can't, come back to me. Yeah. Maybe I didn't say it to you, but in my head, I knew if you can't get a guarantor, I'll be a guarantor.
Exactly. I didn't want to lose property. And had it still been with the agent, I would have needed a guarantor. And I did actually approach someone, and they told me that they would be my guarantor, but I'd have to give them 50% of the profit.
Yep, you told me that. Hey, here we go. And you said, I will get a guarantor, but someone wants 50% of the profit, which is ridiculous. Yeah. And I said, send me the figures, I'll take a look. Then let's pitch it tonight to the mastermind. I'm confident someone will buy. I'll help you come up with a proposition. Okay, I didn't actually tell you. But I was thinking, if you can't, I'll be a guarantor.
Oh, thank you.
Because I saw how hard you were working and what you were doing. And some people go, oh, her dad was a guarantor. It's easy for some. It's like, no, you join the academy.
I was going to say, the right people, even people like Kim was like, oh, I would, I would. And knowing people like that is just amazing.
They would do what, be a guarantor?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and a few months ago I didn't know them, and now they're willing to put their name on a legal document for me. is amazing. So yeah, networking, attending the weekly calls makes a huge difference.
Putting yourself around serious people. Another thing we talked about as well, you said a lot of people come to you saying, can you help me? Can you just, and it's like, well, not really, not unless you help yourself.
Yeah, like if you've done the training and then, you know, want my advice or want to meet, then of course I'd love to network with people. But if you're not willing to invest in yourself, why should I waste my time? Because you don't know anything. And people that say they do off, you know, 2 YouTube videos, you don't.
Yeah.
Like can you run a business in service accommodation?
Right.
We can all furnish a house, but then what do you do?
Right. You need to know how to systemize it.
Yeah.
You need to know how to put cleaners in place, not just cleaners, but how to make sure that they can manage the booking system.
Yeah.
You need to be able to set up channel managers, or are you going to manage it yourself? How do you avoid double bookings?
Yeah.
How do you deal with the whole review thing in place?
Yeah.
The linen.
Exactly.
And you have to do it yourself, but you need to know how to put systems in place so that it gets done. And that's
Yeah.
what a lot of landlords that often see, I've seen this so many times, landlords, and if your landlord's watching this now, this would be good for him to hear, because landlords, they're like, oh my gosh, you're paying me just 1,500, but you're making 3 grand, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And then when the contract ends, how long is this contract?
3 years.
3 years. They take it back, they try and do it themselves, and they can't.
Yeah.
They just can't, because they think it's about putting it on Airbnb and waiting for the bookings to come in.
Yeah.
But it's way more to it than that.
Yeah, there's so much more to it, and that's why you need the training.
Right.
Because there are tiny little things that you would never think you have to worry about, and then they come up and you do.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like even like bin collections.
Right.
People don't think of that, but you need to, because you can't ask a guest to put your bin bags out.
Right.
You know, someone's got to be responsible for it.
And it's about systemizing it, having a welcome pack when they arrive so they know where things are, the Wi-Fi password, and just making sure everything's top notch. Because if you try and do serviced accommodation, but you mess up and do it wrong, you're going to get bad reviews, and then you're not going to get bookings.
As soon as you get bad reviews, you can call it a night, because they are everything. Yeah. And it can be as simple as one little thing that went wrong, and you have to be able to either remedy the situation quick, or, you know, to ensure that you can get a good review, because that is everything. Yeah.
What do people say now? You're financially free and you're 20. What do your friends and family think?
Now they're very supportive, although my dad and mum do still tell me to be careful.
They're still?
Yeah.
Wow.
My dad is the most risk adverse person you will ever meet.
Because normally it's be careful, and then it's, well, we'll see. And then it's, money isn't everything, you know.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think if I bought him a nice fishing boat, then he'd stop telling me to be careful.
We'll maybe make that happen soon.
One day.
One day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but they must be shocked that you're now literally getting more money and you don't have to go to work.
They're not shocked at all. I was always quite a confident kid, and all my aspiring jobs was always, you know, CEO, director. It was always something where I was in control of my life. So they weren't shocked at all. The only thing that shocked them was when I left my job so quick, because they didn't know how unhappy I was, because I don't really tend to tell people how I feel. I'm very closed off. Yeah. And had they have known how I'd felt for months, I think they would have been different.
How did you feel?
Awful.
About your job?
Yeah, like depressed, like you just wake up and do the same routine and you look forward to the weekend. The weekend comes, it goes really quick, and then you just dread the next working week, and it was just a vicious cycle all the time. And lockdown made it worse, because I couldn't even look forward to my weekends.
How do you feel now compared to then?
Amazing. I live in the present. I'm not always just waiting for something to happen. Like, I enjoy every day. I love what I do, and I'm really, really happy. And even if I'm working a 12-hour day, it's doing something that I love, and it's actually going to benefit me.
Right. What does an average, because I know sometimes you have to work hard in this business. Yeah. I know also you often, now you take a lot of nice days off. And what does an average day look like for Darcy?
So if I've got a service accommodation to do, then I would normally get up and get showered and ready, and then come straight here, book a tip slot, probably be taking something to the tip, and then just keep renovating it. Probably eat dinner out of a takeaway box. Love a good takeaway.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just keep going and then go home and sleep. If I've not, renovating a house, then I'd wake up, go to the gym, come back, get ready, maybe go for a forest walk, have some nice lunch, then make my agent calls, sift through my emails, see if there's any little bits and bobs I need to order. And then it's a pretty chilled evening, I cook a nice dinner, sit with my family and just chill.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's a nice life.
Is it a big contrast now and last year?
Yeah, massively. Like, it's weird how, like, if I want to have a lie-in, I can.
Yeah.
I haven't got to get up for anyone normally.
How does your partner Ben think about everything?
Oh, he loves it. He gets jealous when he has to get up and go to work.
Does he?
And I'm here, yeah.
What have been some of the tough times? Because you do have a thing of making everything look so easy and seamless.
Yeah.
What have been some of the tough days through the last 6-12 months of becoming financially free?
I think the toughest days for me was when I was getting viewings and the agent was really nice and it all seemed to go ahead and then it didn't.
Yeah.
I'll never forget where before I got the Portsmouth one, I actually secured one in Winchester, my dream place, and it was a 2-bedroom apartment, gorgeous. Like, I fell in love. I know they say don't buy with emotions, but this place, like, I was and because I was inexperienced, the landlord asked to see my business accounts, but obviously I didn't have anything in there because I was brand new. And instead of saying, oh, it's a new company, I can give you references instead, I just transferred some money over and sent the screenshot like they asked. I should never have done that. I did, and then I lost that deal and I was like devastated. I was so angry and distraught, and then it took me a good few weeks before I came on your course to find another one. So the hardest times is when you've been calling agents for weeks, you get the viewings and nothing happens, and you just think, like, when am I going to catch a break?
Right.
But all the no's are worth the one yes.
That's right. I mean, technically, if this deal is basically just this deal alone is financial freedom.
Yeah.
So you don't need to get a lot of yeses. And that's the thing, if you look at any sports, if you watch sport and you'll see them keep shoot, miss, shoot, miss, shoot, miss, shoot, miss, and then they'll get a goal and then they win the game. And
yeah,
it's easy to get disheartened by the times you miss.
Yeah.
But actually, you shouldn't be counting the times you miss. You should be just saying, well, I only hit once or twice and it's going to be life-changing.
And I think for me, like, sometimes it was really hard seeing some of your success streams. I always, like, watch them. And, like, say, sometimes they make it seem so easy. Like, oh, I earn 10K a month now in 3 months. And you think, what? I've been working so hard. I'm not even close to that. And sometimes that would get to me. But then I would have calls with, like, your weekly call or with a mentor, and they would have to remind me, take it at your own pace.
Right.
Like, your story is very different to anyone else's.
Yeah.
And you will get there. And that's the point I realised I need to stop comparing myself. Because I used to do that and it would just make me feel bad about myself if I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because there might be some people watching this even now that see you, and there'll be some people that are really inspired, but there'll be some people that think, bitch, why am I not there? And they'll maybe try and, either they'll feel shitty about it and beat themselves up, or they'll try to pull you down and say, oh, it's just because I bet her dad gave a load of money, But you certainly weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
No, I come from a normal family. I mean, in the childhood, it got to the point where, it was just beans and bread.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not from a wealthy background at all. My dad started his business from nothing, and they were trying to raise a family and raise a house. And so, you'd go shopping to, like, Aldi, and you'd only be able to buy, like, beans, or, like, if you're a kid, you could only get one Happy Meal between me and my sister just because it cost. So I definitely didn't grow up in that lifestyle at all.
Right. So you've seen what it's like to not have a lot, and then you've seen security and been in a case where you've got a job, which is like a rat race, and now finally freedom, financial freedom.
Yeah, I think when you see, like, your parents work so hard, but you don't see the rewards, it definitely makes you think, like, I don't want to be like that. And, I think that definitely pushed me. So I know people go, oh, money isn't everything. but actually it is a lot of it.
It is a lot.
Like, it allows you just to have freedom, live comfortably. And I always said, like, I would never want to spend my life stressing about money. Like, there's so much more things I could be putting my energy into than worrying about the food bill, about, you know, like, when you're a kid and you play sports that cost your parents money, you don't realize at the time, but they're working extra hard just to keep you in a sport. So it's stuff like that I just wouldn't ever want to have to worry.
Yeah. Do you ever pinch yourself when you look at what you've done property-wise?
No, I haven't yet. It hasn't settled in. I think because I have such massive goals that, like, I have to remind myself to celebrate the smaller wins.
Right.
And to other people, it's a big win. But to me, I'm like, I want to be in the millions. So, you know.
Wow. So you feel like you're just warming up?
Yeah, this is just the taster session this year.
But even when we sat down, you were like, so is this actually winners on a Wednesday?
I still can't believe this is winners on a Wednesday because, like I said to my boyfriend Ben, like, I used to watch them and I said, like, I'm going to be on that. Yeah. But I didn't expect it to happen this fast. Yeah. So it's really weird.
How long have you been watching my YouTube videos?
I'd say a good year now.
Yeah. So, yeah. And what's the experience been like on the academy, working with me? Or what's it been like?
It's been amazing. I really didn't expect you to be as hands-on or friendly. Okay. Not like friendly, but like you have so many students. Yeah. And so like when you actually, I remember the first time you texted me on Facebook, I was like, what? I like showed my family, like, he texted me out of all his students. Yeah. So that really surprised me, but obviously in a good way. Like you and your team, like Ricky and Alistair, they're all actually just so friendly. Yeah. And like meeting people on the academy and stuff, they're just incredible as well. Like, you know, I never thought that I would just be able to text people and ask for their advice. And yeah, it's great.
Have you made a lot of good friends?
Yeah. Yeah, always go to your events now with George, which is great. Yeah. He's a friend that I met through your
He's also a young guy on the academy. Then you've got people like Kim, who you've been friends with, who's a different generation.
Yeah,
but again, killing it in property as well.
I know, she's like a property mum to everyone though, isn't she? Like, she's so mothering.
What would your advice be to somebody watching this that's thinking, I want to do the same thing. I'm tired of my job. I'm tired of... And what would be your best advice?
Just take the risk and take the action and don't expect results overnight. Like, you have to actually put in work. Yeah. It doesn't just come. And there will be a lot of no's on the phone, a lot of awkwardness, a lot of like disappointment. But once you get that one yes, you will forget all those horrible phone calls that you had. Yeah, exactly. That's great. Well, I'm so proud of you, Darcy. And thank you. I'm so pleased to see you doing really well. And most importantly, is not just how much money you're making and all that, but is how your life has changed. Yeah. It's just, for me, it's really fulfilling as a trainer to see somebody, like you said, you were feeling depressed and you're in a job that you didn't enjoy. Quit that, out with the old, in with the new. Yeah. To see what you're doing, to just come around, meet your partner, Ben. You know, I'm really, really proud of you. And also as well, massive shout out to your family and parents that just, I know they were a bit skeptical and they were like, well, but still for supporting you. Yeah. And I know they didn't give you any money, but just sort of standing with you in it. You know, shout out to them if they're listening. And massive congratulations. Thank you. Well done. Guys, I hope you are feeling inspired. This is Darcy. I'll leave a link to her Instagram and stuff in the description, so connect with Darcy. Also, if you'd like to come on the Property Investors Crash Course, then come and join for some free training. What's the free training like, by the way? Amazing. You learn so much. You don't have to just do the advanced training. If you want to get like one-on-one mentoring and support, then yes, there are some options. But a lot of the training is free. So you can come on down. I'll leave a link in the description. Check it out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit like, and if you've got questions for Darcy, why don't you hit it in the comment box? I'm sure she'll respond to some of the questions in the comment box. I certainly will be. So comment below on the video and we'll see you next time. Peace.